These two patriots were wearing the uniform of our country, patrolling the streets of our capital. They had taken a selfless oath to defend our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that is exactly what they were doing when they were gunned down in a savage attack.
What's going on, y'all? So, I want to talk a little bit about this National Guard shooting that happened earlier this week. Just because the story is, one, it's extremely sad. Two, it's disturbing. But three, it was 100% avoidable. So we'll talk about what we know about this guy, the alleged shooter. We'll talk about, Trump's reaction to this. And then I'll give you some of my thoughts as well. Before we do, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. As always, it's 100% free, but it means the world to me. So let's get into it. The guy, Lockenwall, who is the shooter that they have in custody, was actually an Afghan national who moved here after the U.S. withdrew from Afghanistan. And for those of you who don't know, back when they did that, there was this program that basically allowed a bunch of people who were working with the United States to basically come here just for their own safety, right? So Biden pulls out of Afghanistan, the Taliban takes over again, and there are a whole bunch of people that are in the country that were either working with the U.S. military or with intelligence, either giving them information or translating or what have you. And they were seeking, asylum to come to the United States so that, they wouldn't be basically killed in their own country, okay? So that's how Lockenwall got to the United States. Apparently he was living in Washington State. He drove all the way from Washington State to Washington, D.C., and then on Wednesday afternoon shot a couple of National Guardsmen in cold blood. The motivation is pretty much still unknown. All right. So as for the victims of the shooting, we have two National Guardsmen from West Virginia. One has died from her injuries. That was Sarah Beckstrom, and she was only 20 years old. Okay, she was only 20. And the other guy's name is Andrew Wolf, and he's 24. And he's apparently in critical condition, like he's in really bad shape as well. But the reason why this is super sad is not just because they're so young, but again, this was totally and completely avoidable because of the fact that Trump did his stupid nonsense where he's like, I'm gonna take red state National Guard and send them to blue cities. And so these poor kids are in DC on Thanksgiving, basically, not at home with their families. They're doing Trump's fucking bullshit of like policing DC and keeping the peace, even though like there's nothing going on there. Trump just likes to do this kind of shit. And the result is that two of them were shot. Now, obviously, like I said, we don't know why Lockenwall shot these people or allegedly shot these people. That's who they have in custody. But the fact of the matter is it wouldn't have happened in the first place if we didn't have Trump sending the National Guard to invade American cities, which is what is going on. So we're gonna get to his comments on this, and then I'll react. Here's Trump talking about it.
The Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan, a hellhole on earth. He was flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021 on those infamous flights that everybody was talking about. Nobody knew who was coming in. Nobody knew anything about it. His status was extended under legislation signed by President Biden, a disastrous president, the worst in the history of our country. This attack underscores the single greatest national security threat facing our nation. The last administration let in 20 million unknown and unvetted foreigners from all over the world, from places that you don't want to even know about.
Okay, so obviously Trump is using this moment to ramp up his rhetoric about, you know, like how we can't trust immigrants, we can't trust any of these illegals and all this shit, right? Like, he's going to use this moment to be a piece of shit. And the funny thing is that he does try to blame the Biden administration, which, here's the rich part. The alleged shooter, Lockenwall, was seeking asylum, and apparently he was granted asylum earlier this year in April. So that would have been under the Trump administration, right? As he tries to pass the blame to Biden for this, of course, it happened under his watch. So, I mean, like, nothing surprises me anymore, but, like, all you have to do is read a little bit, and you can quickly find out that, like, as usual, this is not Biden's fault. But Trump is going to try and make it out to be Biden's fault, because that's what he does, right? He's going to try and politicize the moment. He's going to ramp up the rhetoric about, you know, people coming in from foreign countries and all this garbage. And again, this would not have happened if these people were home with their families on Thanksgiving instead of doing Trump's Gestapo bullshit. And I actually feel really bad for the National Guard, because these people aren't ICE, right? They're active duty service members. So they can't just say, like, hey, I'm not gonna do that, right? ICE is willfully committing crimes on a daily basis. Like, they're really about it, right? The people who are in the National Guard did not sign up to invade American cities on behalf of a fascist blowhard like Donald Trump, right? They all know the reason they're in DC is complete bullshit, but they have to be there. And so that's the other part of this that's, like, it's sad, it was avoidable. And the disturbing thing too is, aside from the fact that, like, we don't know what the motivation of this guy was, is that we still to this day have a massive gun problem in this country, and the Republicans certainly aren't going to address it. But, like, this guy apparently had illegally obtained a .357, which is what he used to do the shooting. So, again, like, I really don't have words except for the fact that, like, I'm so sad that these poor young kids have to do this. And, you know, of course, his reaction, Trump is like, I'm gonna bring even more National Guardsmen to DC. There's something like almost 2,000, I think it's over 2,000 National Guardsmen in DC right now, just in DC alone. These people have better shit to do with their time, okay? Like, this is ridiculous. And there's nothing going on in DC. There's not, like, mass riots or anything like that. There are people protesting. There are people that are asserting their First Amendment right because Trump is doing fascist shit, and they have the right to express their disgust with the current regime. But no, he's like, oh, I'm gonna pour even more National Guardsmen into the city because of this one guy. And I really hope that we don't see more stuff like this, because it's not the fault of the National Guardsmen that they have to be there, okay? Like I said, these guys aren't like the ICE Gestapo. They are forced to be there. We'll continue to follow the story. Hopefully the other young kid, Andrew Wolf, does survive. Hopefully he's able to recover, and we'll stick with that story when it comes around. Anyway, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.